Good to have you with us on this Tuesday edition of Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Big debate tonight. The GOP gathering at the war table. It'll be the final debate for 2015. And in that debate hall tonight in Las Vegas, there is no doubt that Donald Trump is going to be walking in with a little bit of swagger. His best numbers yet. Look at this number. 41% of Americans now believe, Republicans, that put him out in front, way ahead of Cruz at 14%. That's the national poll. Now, the biggest dust-up as of late for Trump was saying that he wants to make sure that we check the number of Muslims that are in this country and not allow them in until, quote, Congress knows what the hell they're doing. Marco Rubio said that, well, he was doing that just to gather the limelight.
If you look at the statements he made this week, obviously I think he made them partially to recapture the limelight after having lost it. And I do think we lost some of the focus on the attacks in San Bernardino and focused on a plan that isn't really a plan and is never going to happen. But he is reminding us in that process that people are really upset and they're really scared. They're worried. And I think the president made things worse last Sunday with the speech, not better. And you know, that's what he's focused in on.
Hey, everybody's wrong. I mean, Bush is wrong. Bush is wrong. And you got Obama wrong. And Trump is saying the wrong stuff. You know, he thought that he did it just to grab the limelight. Well, guess what? It worked. This is the best number that Trump's got so far. Here's what's happening, and no one else is saying it or putting it this way, and I'm going to do it. White America is afraid. White America is supporting Donald Trump. There are independent voters in there as well. And I think it's the one theme out there that Trump has hit, the one nerve, and that's political correctness. I think that there are a lot of scared white people in this country that are sick and tired of the political correctness in our society, and Trump knows it, and that's what he's preying on. And so when he says, damn it, we're going to get Muslims out of here, and we're not going to let any of them in until we know what the hell's going on, that feeds right into the fear. It feeds right into the scared demographic that he's feeding off of right now. And so the polls are what they are. It's a national poll. If Trump loses Iowa, he's still going to be strong in New Hampshire. If he loses New Hampshire, he's still going to be strong in South Carolina because he has a base. A lot of these guys don't have a base. That's why they're... Tell me, what is the base of Bush? What is the base of Rubio? What is the base of Cruz? It ain't as big as Trump's. That's for sure, because what Trump has tapped into is far greater than what the other constituents have. And I don't think there's any doubt that Trump is in it for the long haul. He hasn't even started to spend any of his money yet. Now, it's interesting, some of the other polling that's out there. The NBC News Wall Street Journal poll says that Hillary Clinton would beat Trump by 10 points. She would also beat Ted Cruz by 3 points, but she would have a hard time beating Rubio and Carson in a hypothetical matchup. I find that interesting. Is Rubio the dark horse in all of this? Let's go to Mitch Ceasar. He's the chairman of the Broward County Democratic Party, former Florida Democratic Party chair. Mitch, good to have you with us.
Good to be with you, Ed.
It seems like there's a story every week with Trump, but there's also a story every week with Florida politics that's coming out. I mean, you called it a long time ago that Bush wasn't going to poll very well at all despite all the money. Rubio is showing a heartbeat, but I don't know if it's going to be strong enough to have him run the whole race. How do you see what's unfolding with Florida politics right now, the two candidates from Florida?
Well, what's most interesting is, remember, Florida on the Republican side is a winner-take-all primary. Back in the good old days, which seems like years ago, but it was only like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, Bush was positive he was going to win, wanted to put together a steamroller in Florida because we're so many delegates, we're the third biggest mega state in the country, and got convinced the Florida legislature to make this a winner-take-all. So instead of people winning by congressional districts, well, perhaps Cruz would end up with, 50 delegates, and Rubio would have 100, and Bush would have 150. Now it's winner take all, and I think, frankly, Florida will be Bush's Waterloo. By the same token, it's not going to help Rubio either. I'm not convinced Rubio is going to win Florida either. Everything's upside down. And to jump on what you said, talking about, Trump is going to go on, even if he loses Iowa, even if he loses New Hampshire, he hasn't touched his own money. That's why the Republicans are talking behind closed doors about a brokered convention.
I think he's going to win New Hampshire. I do. I think Trump's going to win New Hampshire. I don't think Iowa matters that much. I really don't. We've seen different people. We've seen different people win Iowa and get nowhere close to the nomination.
Well, I was going to say if Iowa mattered, we'd be saying President Santorum or some of the others who've done well there in past cycles, or Huckabee, right? And yet they're both running, and they're still at the kids' table in the debate. Yeah. So Iowa's not going to matter. Even for Republicans, it's probably the most extreme primary in many ways. Certainly with the most religious folks playing a disproportionate role. But Bush isn't going anywhere. Forget him. Rubio has one foot in each world, which makes him interesting, but may be his doom. It's kept him alive and competitive, where he originally got elected by the Tea Party in 2010 in Florida. He's hitting Trump, but not too much. I think what we're going to see in the debate tonight is a situation where Rubio has to go after somebody, and the somebody is no longer Jeb Bush.
Yeah.
The somebody has to be Ted Cruz or Trump. I look for Cruz and Trump to take each other on because they're the ones who are fighting to fill the void, when Trump dissolves a little. Obviously, everybody's talked about Cruz has picked up on the heels of Carson going downhill. He's going to just melt away. He's not going to matter. I never really thought he would.
Mitch, how does Trump play in Florida? I mean, is he strong in Florida?
He really is. Don't forget, you have a lot of people in Florida who are former New Yorkers who are from New Jersey, so that helps him a little. Also, the fact that his brand of politics, or being a brand in and of itself, and has been tested commercially for so many years. They didn't have to test it that hard politically. They knew what they had, and he's genuine, if not kooky, and people like, as you said, the lack of political correctness. I think he'll play well in Florida. He can still win Florida. And I have to tell you, if Trump does win Florida again, winner take all, I think that's the end of Bush, and I don't see anywhere for Rubio to go, because the real question is, where can Rubio grow from? Who does he take votes away from to grow, if not exponentially, at least enough to keep in there? I think they'll all do okay. But I got to tell you, when we'll know more of the first 2-3, I think you could be headed for a brokered convention. And if that's the case, look for Donald Trump maybe be running as a third-party candidate.
Well, the Secretary of State of Ohio says he can't do it. And nobody can get the White House without Ohio. So would he do it just to screw things up? I think
he's done that in the primary, so I don't think that's a deterrent.
I think the
for his brand.
I think the Republican Party is going to follow Warren Buffett, and I think that they're going to cool their jets a little bit on Trump. And I think once Trump gets the momentum and he gets some wins under his belt, and it's pretty obvious he's the guy, I think you'll see him cool off a little bit of some of these comments. I mean,
you got to give Donald Trump credit for one thing. He has made Ted Cruz look almost mainstream for Republicans, which is almost impossible.
Yeah, that's well put. Mitch Ceasar, always great to visit. Appreciate your time. We'll do it again. Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you, Ed.
You bet.